Hello and welcome to Kashmir University Video Digest Quest. I'm your host Muhammad Fahim Al-Islam, and in today's episode we have an interview with the Registrar Dr. Nisar Ahmed Mir, highlights of a 2-day training workshop for women counsellors, and we also have highlights of Road Safety Signature Campaign organized by NSS. Now the details. Dear viewers, it's been 2 years since Dr. Nisar Ahmed Mir took charge as the Registrar of the University of Kashmir. A PhD in Sociology, the former Joint Secretary at the University Grants Commission, Dr. Nisar was earlier performing his duties as Registrar at the National Institute of Technology, Srinagar. In an interview with the Quest team, Dr. Nisar talked on a variety of administrative and academic issues, the challenges faced by the university during the COVID pandemic, people's perception and improvements needed to uplift the performance of the university. Here are some excerpts of the interview that I held with the Registrar in his office. Hello and welcome. Today we have the Registrar University of Kashmir, Dr. Nisar Ahmed Mir with us. Today we will be discussing various matters related to the university functioning. We'll also be discussing some crucial administrative and academic challenges facing the university. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us.
Thank you, Fahim and Team MRC.
Welcome, sir. Sir, it's been more than 2 years since you assumed the office. At the time of joining, you must have kept some targets to achieve for the university. How successful do you think you have been so far?
At the joining of this university, first challenge was the NAC.
Right.
And successful completion of the NAC was also important. So fortunately, that was the most successful visit of the NAC team ever in Kashmir University. We were graded as NAC A+ university.
Right.
And that also with a CGPA score of 3.26. It was by the cooperation and teamwork of all under the guidance of our Honorable Vice Chancellor,
Right.
Talat Saab, that we could achieve the milestone which every university aspires or they wish to become a NAC accredited university, and that also with a good grade.
Right.
University of Kashmir is now heading towards a university with potential for excellence, because there is a condition that we should have one center or two centers which are already in the excellence mode, and fortunately we have an excellence center in Himalayan biodiversity, which is being run by the botany, zoology, biochemistry, environmental science and biotech department. We have again got a DST funding project, excellence center on glaciology in the department of Earth Sciences. So we have almost now got those two centers, excellence center, and we are now eligible for becoming a university with potential for excellence. Hopefully we will be applying for that, and inshallah we will get it.
So what was the next important challenge you think?
So next we were confronted with some different issues at the university level. So last year we have taken a special batch of students, 2019. But during 2020 again, because of the COVID,
Right.
but we issued a notice because we have brought this into the notice of our chancellor also. University has a system that we go by entrance to the admissions. So we were given the permission by the authorities that you go ahead with the conduct of entrance this
Right.
year also. So we conducted the entrance test, as you know. It was with the following full SOPs, and this year what we did, Vice Chancellor took a meeting of all the functionaries in the university, and we decided to conduct the entrance tests during this year, during 2020, at district headquarters. During this whole process, we started work at almost all fronts, whether those were administrative, those were academic, those were
Right.
societal, those were research. And those we started on working and and Alhamdulillah we succeeded in a good way to run the university during this
Incidentally, that will be my next question. How tough was that COVID challenge for you as registrar? What did it take to get university back on the rails after things went out of gear due to this unprecedented situation?
Unfortunately, this COVID was a global phenomenon, as we all know. So the first response from university side was that government asked us for certain support at different levels. For example, there were not IT-PCR machines in the government at that time,
Right.
in the hospitals. And we do have in our biotechnology or biochemistry or clinical biochemistry, we do have certain machines of IT-PCR. And we provided them to the hospitals of J&K. Not only that, we also extended the support in form of, we provided them some 12 to 15 research scholars who were trained outside the country, who were trained in such process,
Right.
IT-PCR running. So our 10 to 12 scholars also worked initially in that tough time. They
Right.
worked in all the hospitals in Srinagar. Then there were our hostels. Government
Yeah.
also asked that we want to turn or transform your hostels
Hostels
into the
into-
COVID centers. So we provided them our Zokura campus. Then when there was a pressure on hospitals also later on, then our Zokura campus was also converted into a L1 hospital. So patients, COVID positive patients were admitted there. There was a full-fledged facility of medical facility. There was a medical center from the
Right.
government also. We have our own health center. Our health center also extended full support to the government.
One important thing, sir, how challenging was it to motivate your staff, especially during the earlier days of the pandemic, to motivate them and get engaged into helping people, reaching out to people, disseminating information about this pandemic?
Normally it was tough for everybody. So was with us.
Right.
And particularly my employees also, because as you know that initial days of COVID were very disturbing for all.
Exactly.
So people were very scared of
Very scared.
COVID. We tried to motivate our employees, because there are also unions in the associations or unions in the particularly in the non-teaching staff.
Right.
They supported us. They cooperated with us, and fortunately we also provided them the requisite kits, and fortunately they agreed and they cooperated with us.
So that way it was a success.
There were SOPs from the government. First all universities for all academic institutions were
shut.
were closed. Then the government allowed certain percentage of employees to come in and work. So with that we started with 33% or 50%, but we alhamdulillah we managed that. We cannot work with 33%. For example, in non-teaching administration, in teaching administration, we need a 100% staff. But what we did during that time, or today also it is going on, we have, for example, we have managed the social distances. In one chamber where it was occupying some 20 or 30 employees, we bifurcated it. We gave them some
Reduced the number.
more space. We shifted some employees and kept them with a social distance after following SOPs in some separate room. So we could run the administration during that period. Honorable Vice Chancellor and others, they decided that we have to go for the online.
Right.
Online, though there was issues on the internet, 2G speed was a bottleneck. We gave a blanket approval to the teachers, to the departmentals, that if there are any gadgets required, then when we come onto the research front. So as you know that research scholars, because they cannot waste time or they have a limited time to submit, though University Grants Commission has given certain relaxations. First they have given 6 months extra period. Now they have come with 6 months period. But at our own level, what Honorable Vice Chancellor and other members have decided, that we have opened the labs just after 3 months of the COVID.
Having said that, and having acknowledged the fact that university has been doing all these wonderful things related to infrastructure, administration, and academics, public perception
Yes,
has not changed over the years.
That I will come. That will come. There are issues. I don't disagree with you that there are issues with the students, but that is not only on the part of university only, because it is a reciprocal. There are good stories from university also. So if they are circulated by the media, I hope that perception will definitely change.
So, you talked about media. How important is the image as an institution enjoys in the media? Do you think that a constant media gaze motivates employees to work harder and come to the expectations of the people? Or a constant engagement of with the media sometimes proves counterproductive?
There is always a scope of improvement. ये उनकी अपनी यूनिवर्सिटी है, अपना घर है, तो उनको कोई कुछ भी हक है कि कुछ भी कहने का. We don't disagree, but मेरी रिक्वेस्ट है कि जहाँ कोई नेगेटिव स्टोरी आती है, कोई भी आती है, तो नेगेटिव स्टोरी में जब छापते हैं तो इट इज़ अ प्रोफेशनल एथिक्स ऑल्सो कि अगर कोई स्टोरी होती है, कुछ भी होता है, तो एक यूनिवर्सिटी का भी व्यू लेना चाहिए.
राइट सर. Higher education institutions encourage an intercurricular interaction. Students and teachers of different departments hold sessions on common themes. That proves mutually fruitful. Could we do it here? At least can we build some common platform between social sciences and humanities?
Now we are encouraging, and we have started it, that their research projects are the research work which are being done, undertaken by the students, that should be interdisciplinary.
Right.
That is again that we are trying to encourage, under the guidance of Honorable Vice Chancellor, we are trying to encourage that there should be we should exchange the faculty at our
human resource
at our level.
So another important question, due to the curtailment of funds, educational institutions may see it a compulsion to increase the fee for the betterment of the students and scholars, of course. Yet the fee hike is seen as unjustified. How would you respond to that?
Our fee ranges from 8,000 to 13,000 only.
Okay.
Annually.
Annually,
it ranges from normal admission fee I am talking about. I am not talking about hostel and other.
Okay.
For example, you take the example of BA LLB, or you take the example of engineering, or you take the example of nursing or any subject. We charge a fee of rupees 40,000 to 50,000 from a student annually. Then we have to recruit the teachers, we have to recruit the non-teaching staff in that, particularly in teaching staff. Infrastructure, we provide them. But the salary component, which is being provided to a teacher monthly on contractual basis, for example, either 50,000 or 40,000, whatever will be the qualification of teacher, that is fixed there. So what I have told you, that it is almost on a no profit, no loss. But as you know, that University of Kashmir is taking care of students also. For example, we facilitate them to submit their forms for different scholarship schemes, which are either given by the government of J&K or by the central government. That is the one aspect where we facilitate the students who are underprivileged students. Number second, we have our own scholarship scheme in Kashmir University, which we fund at our own level.
Right.
Which we partly fund from the government, partly from the students, partly from the university also. We don't charge any examination fee from orphan students, from physically or socially able students.
Almost 2 years back, university invited applications for some administrative positions, which invited a huge response from people, but no exams, no interviews have been done so far. Applicants are still waiting. Is there any possibility in future?
In assistant registrar, we have got some 5,900 applications for 7 posts. Again, for junior assistant posts, we have got some 7,000 applications. So there is a huge number of applicants who are aspiring for such posts. But because now for shortlisting and other mechanism, we have to shortlist the candidates, for which we have to go for an entrance test.
Right.
So to conduct an entrance test of 6,000 students is slightly, particularly in COVID,
in times of pandemic,
it is a difficult job, because at Kashmir University level we can just accommodate 3,000 students, and if we follow the SOPs, it comes around the 2,000 only. Now we have almost finalized it, and we have also uploaded it on a website also, that we most probably we may be conducting the entrance test for assistant registrar posts in the last week of Feb. And for the posts of junior assistants, we may again be holding the entrance test in the month of March. That is the situation on our non-teaching front. In our teaching front, we do have good number of posts. We had to adopt the reservation policy. At present, we have already completed the completion of this roster. So we may most probably also be advertising the non-teaching posts in near future.
Why the university does not have its own transport system? University can outsource it to some company. It will reduce the volume of vehicles considerably and maintain punctuality too. Will you put in your personal efforts to make that possible?
We are providing such facilities to non-teaching or teaching staff also, but in a limited manner. So we have already e-tendered for outsourcing of transport facilities. We have already shortlisted the agencies which will be providing, after following code of formalities, we have already shortlisted the transport agencies. Now it is up to the employees to avail that. We will facilitate them. So we have now almost done that.
Sir, holding webinars has been a new experience. Though it's no replacement to a face-to-face interaction, but it has shown us new ways to connect with the outside world. It's a time-efficient, cost-efficient exercise. Can it be continued after the pandemic is over?
We can get a resource person from anywhere in the world.
Exactly.
Anywhere in the world we can connect, and we can be benefited by his expertise and his knowledge, or at the national level also. What we have done in last council, what we have done, our Honorable Vice Chancellor we have taken an item to the council also, that we will conduct the interviews for teaching, non-teaching also online mode.
Sir, public institutions use social media to connect to people, to reach out to people. Why is Kashmir University not doing so?
There are certain security and other cyber issues related to it. Let us hope that we can do it some secure, if there is any secure app.
The full version of this interview is available on our YouTube channel. Vice Chancellor Professor Talat Ahmed inaugurated the Road Safety Signature Campaign at the campus. Organized by the NSS wing of the university in collaboration with Traffic Police Srinagar, the Signature Campaign aims to encourage people to take road safety measures seriously and pledge not to violate rules for the general benefit of society. A number of university officials, scholars and commuters signed the pledge to follow traffic rules. Coordinator NSS Dr. Musawwir Ahmed said that it's the concern of the university to take up issues that affect the society.
This has been taken in view of the Road Safety Month. NSS has been at the forefront of activities wherein academia and the society, broader society, they meet each other, and these volunteers, they are actually students, we call them as student volunteers. They take part in issues immediately concerning the broader society. So traffic violations, traffic management, road safety, these are the concerns of common citizen, and we are exposing the students to this social issue wherein they understand the issue, and they are also future drivers, and also make aware society about the hazards of different kinds of traffic violations.
Deputy Superintendent of Police Traffic Mr. Ghulam Hassan said that the traffic rules have been formulated for the betterment of the commuters.
ये कॉमन गुड में है, सोसाइटी के कलेक्टिव वेलफेयर के लिए है. जितना हम ट्रैफिक रूल्स को फॉलो करेंगे उतना एक्सीडेंट्स की रेट्स कम हो जाएंगी, लोगों की जानें बच जाएंगी, और दूसरी चीज़ ये है कि हम इकोनॉमिकली भी इससे फ़ायदा उठा सकते हैं. रॉन्ग पार्किंग से अगर जाम रुक जाए तो लोगों का फ्यूल बच जाएगा, वक्त भी ज़्यादा ज़ाया नहीं होगा. तो जितना ज़्यादा हम ट्रैफिक रूल्स को फॉलो करेंगे उतना अच्छा रहेगा.
The traffic police later gave hands-on training to the volunteers.
दो आगे रहेंगे, दो बीच में, दो पीछे, तो साथ में गाड़ियाँ चलेंगी, सायरन बजता रहेगा. में से अगर कोई अनाउंसमेंट करना चाहेगा, ठीक है ना, PS सिस्टम हमारे पास है, रास्ते चलते हुए अपील करना चाहिए.
A two-day training program for counsellors working in the Mahila Shakti Kendras concluded here in the University of Kashmir. The training program was jointly organized by the Department of Social Work and the State Resource Centre for Women, Government of Jammu and Kashmir. Speaking at the valedictory function, Assistant Professor of DSW, Dr. Humaira Shaukat, told participants that as a woman, one must elevate herself on the basis of achieved status.
Counseling should be given to potential brides especially, that not to demand surgery and not to link it with their status, their security, okay? Because time has gone now, we have entered into public spaces, wherein they will already be elevated by our own statuses, because we are economically independent, we will be giving our in-laws a new status, that their bahu is, has achieved something and all. So my point here is, don't evaluate yourself on the basis of what is present in the society for you. Evaluate yourself on the basis of your achieved status. Then and only then you can come out of it.
Director, Institute of Kashmir Studies, Professor Muhammad Yusuf Ganai, distributed participation certificates. Later, speaking to the Quest Team Coordinator DSW, Dr. Adil Bashir said that the workshop was organized to enhance the counselling skills of the counsellors.
We structured this program in such a manner so that we can, train them in the area of clients having psychological issues, social issues, or the legal dimensions which they need to understand. Now, counseling is an important technique whereby a counselor identifies the problems of the client, and thereby he or she, responds scientifically, takes the issues and problems of the client into consideration. We had the counselors from various districts where these Mahila Kendras and the one-stop centers and the staff from the ICPS are working.
He said that counsellors trained during this workshop would help make our society better.
We are of this view that if these counselors are trained and they know their job, they know how to scientifically deal with the clients, because we have so many problems, whether we talk about the domestic violence issues, whether we talk about the issues arising out of the health or the disaster situation, natural and the man-made disasters which we have. In this situation, there is a huge role of these counselors who are working in these Mahila mandals and the one-stop centers.
That's all for today's episode. Log on to our website emrcsrinagar.org, where you can check the latest episode of Quest. You can also watch it on our YouTube channel, that is KU Television. Signing off with this week's thought. Banality is the adopted disguise of a very powerful will to abolish conscience.